Welcome, everybody, to the newest episode of the Gaming for Fools podcast. I'm your host, Brian, aka Pliskin, and we're going to be going over the games that I've been playing recently and some of the happenings in the PlayStation world. I think the biggest thing that I've seen is the playthrough that was Alan Wake 2 that I rolled credits on maybe about a week ago. And Alan Wake 2 is the second entry, first being Alan Wake, with DLC called American Nightmare. This is game number 6 or so from Remedy. They had Max Payne 1, 2, and then they had Control, Quantum Break, Alan Wake 1, Alan Wake 2, so there are quite a few games in, and this game really does feel like the fucking helicopter's coming for me. It really does feel like a culmination of a lot of the aspects that make Remedy, but I feel like they've been refined to a T in this entry, especially when it comes to the live action / game segments. The way they handled that in Quantum Break that I saw was they would, you had a traditional game, third person shooter, kind of Infamous inspired, prototype inspired, and then you would go through these missions, you would play a couple, and then you would be prompted with these live action episodes, very much in the vein of a TV show. But that I don't know whether that was in the game or you had to watch that via a TV channel or some kind of streaming service at the time, if there even was one. It was way back, Xbox One era. And so where I'm getting at here is Remedy has really come a long way when it comes to their presentation and the implementation of live action footage. The way Alan Wake 2 handles this is going to certain points in the game, there will be literal black spots in areas that should be a normal view. And so if you go to this black spot and you look at it from the right angle, you'll fill in what's kind of like an eclipse. You'd have to do like a reverse eclipse. And when you do this, it'll complete the scene. And you unlock a special dialogue. And the way that specific dialogue is handled is through live action. Typically in Wake's part of the playthrough, and it will be centered around Casey and his investigation of the case that is about Wake, about Mr. Door, and it's so cool the way they handled that. It's so fascinating, beautiful too. Like the way they give you so much information, but in this presentation it's like so smooth and non-intrusive that you'll find naturally, or maybe you won't because you're not the kind of player that kind of goes through every corner. But it is such a unique perspective on live action, live action sequences in games, or cinema-like sequences in games that a lot of games are trying to do nowadays, but done in a way that's much more interactive and real time, in the moment, actual gameplay instead of a traditional cutscene, which I enjoy, but some players I don't think they do, and it's just, the presentation of that game is so unique. I truly believe this game, the way it goes in and out of live footage, even aside from those conversations that I mentioned through Wake's playthrough, I think it's really pushing the genre forward. I've never played a game that just mixes, it goes back and forth from live footage to gameplay and back to live footage. It's just so unique and very Inception-esque. It's very cool. I've never played a game quite like it, and it's such a joy to play. Generally scary. The game does something interesting that I've never seen a game do before. And you have these shadows, these enemies that used to be people, and again, they're just shadows of people, like shells of former people. And during Wake's playthrough, you're kind of going across a lot of them, and as long as you don't point your flashlight to them, they won't attack you. And when you pass by them, get close enough to them, they'll say your name. And that alone is like one very weird tactic they use to scare the shit out of you, and it works. Like, it's very unsettling to be passing through a group of strangers, faceless strangers, some of which will want to kill you and just say your name or start commenting on things. Kind of reminds me a little bit of RE4, but in a much more subtle, less, how would you say? It's just less common, less tropey than the RE games. It's very clever the way it does it. And from the gameplay, which is very RE inspired, by the way. RE2, I want to say that inspiration that Remedy took from the RE series was specifically from RE2. If you look at the inventory system, if you look at weapons and ammo, the way they're categorized, this is very much in the vein of RE2, especially with some of the pacing and the weapon archetypes they use, very much in that vein, which is a good thing because I think RE2 is probably one of the better REs we've seen in 10 years. I think it's probably the best RE we've seen in 10 years since RE4 Remake or something. It's a great game to take inspiration from. And I just thought that the writing was incredible. I thought the voice acting was incredible. Well, I did notice that these voice actors are either Australian or British, or maybe they're definitely foreign. And I know this because I remember seeing a clip of Wake's wife, one of these many clips, and she was talking to Wake about him and about the shadows and Mr. Scratch, and she said instead of saying bin, she said being, like just very foreign. You know what I mean? But yeah, you get a lot of American actors, a lot of foreign actors trying to do American accents, and to the most part, they really get it right. Every now and again, they'll slip up, but it's not that big of a deal, and also not in a scene that's so important that it's gonna break you out of it. It's nothing near that egregious, I don't think. And so again, the story aspect was so many twists and turns. Man, so much stuff went on between Mr. Scratch, which is essentially Mr. Wake's doppelganger. So we were told. And it's just in between Casey, in between Saga, which I think is a great character who's right from the get-go grounded. She has her motivation, emotional motivation. She has her case motivation. I think she's just a down. She's like a realistic character. She's not like she wasn't written like a fucking Marvel character. She wasn't like, oh man, like she doesn't just kill a boss and go like, oh man, that was crazy. Let's do it again. Like she's not like that. She's not generically written in that cadence. Like she'll kill something. She'll be like, oh my god, thank God. Like she reacts appropriately and not in some bullshit Marvel fashion. And then her voice acting was great. Her writing's great. The render, her character model is beautiful and so damn realistic. Like just the facial detail, the facial capture, just everything's on point. So good. Yeah, and I just highly recommend it. I do not recommend you jump into this game. You have to play. You have to play Alan Wake 1 and then play this one, because it's just you're going to be so confused, because the events of Alan Wake 2 happens exactly 13 years after the event of Alan Wake 1. And the first area that you start in is a very important area that is revisited from 1. And so if you play 2 without playing anything else, you're going to be so fucking confused. even if you play a little bit of Control, you'll get more context. I honestly don't think you have to play Control to get the most out of Alan Wake 2. You just have to play Alan Wake 1. Even though that game's kind of not... I don't think that game's amazing. I think the game's like a solid 7. I played that one recently, maybe like about a year ago. It had a lot of novelties, but it just wasn't implemented really well. It tried to be scary, but it wasn't. Long story short, play Alan Wake 1 before you play this. But again, what this game does right, it does really, really well. The ambiance, the tone, the lighting, the sound effects, the visual design, the implementation of live action versus game cutscenes, the uncertainty of whether this is real or not is always at play. You never really know what you're going to turn the corner to, and that's a kind of like uncertainty that is really like these horror games, the really best horror games of the last couple of years you're really good at. Like you're Evil Within 1, you're Within 2, RE2, and this really make you feel on Dead Space uneasy at all times. And again, this game is very good at that. And yeah, I think the story concludes in a really good way. They the ending has a post-ending cutscene, like a Marvel style thing. It does kind of leave a little page book open, but I don't know, like whatever we're gonna get in the DLC, I'm gonna be looking forward to, because I'm pretty excited for what's to come from the Remedy team. I'm so happy they knocked us out of the park. Like, it just kind of reminds me of like when we got Uncharted 2. That was a huge revelation. When we got Assassin's Creed 2 from 1, huge jump, revelation, just critical acclaim, large number sales. Like, it feels like that kind of jump where it's just AC 1 to 2, Assassin's Creed 1 to 2, like Witcher 2 to 3. Like, it just feels like a massive leap in terms of storytelling, game direction, pacing, tone, like just everything. Every aspect of this game has been really pushed. And again, I've never played a game like this. Like, I played a lot of Zero Horror this game, a lot, like 2 months worth of that, but nothing I played really got close to what I played here, aside from some of the moment to moment from RE2 that was heavily inspired in Alan Wake 2. But in some of the gameplay structure, like the moment to moment structure, just from playing, not ambient story or whatever, because the story's much deeper than that. But man, Alan Wake, highly recommend. I would give it a very high score. I would. I don't think it's a perfect game. I did encounter some glitches right off the bat. I encountered a glitch where one of the NPCs was drinking a mug. 10 minutes into the game, he's drinking a mug, and the mug, instead of being in his hand, was 10 feet away, but was still doing the motion like he was drinking it. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is 10 minutes in, I'm already seeing a bug like that. But yeah, it's very just mostly visual glitches. I saw a lot of shimmering, especially with gold textures. Very bright yellow textures. Like, for example, there's a hotel that you enter at a point in the game, and there's a lot of gold. It's like a New York City Rockefeller kind of building, right? And there's a lot of gold in it. And I'm playing in quality mode. It's ray tracing, all the whole shebang. It just looks shimmery. It almost looks like if someone sprayed glitter on the doors. It just didn't look great. And it happens a couple times in the game, and it's pretty distracting. It's only visual. It's only aesthetic or cosmetic. It doesn't affect the gameplay. But that was one visual bug. I did get 2 crashes, surprisingly, in both from the menu. I got a crash when I was adjusting the brightness. I adjusted it from 50% to 75%, and the game crashed fucking out of nowhere. And then I also got a crash when I was looking at my inventory at the shoebox. It just crashed. Whenever you go in a menu like that, a little sub menu, the frame rate tanks. It goes from like you know, I was playing it again in quality mode, so it went from like a 30 to like, I swear to God, like a 20, maybe high teens, and it crashed on me that time and again when adjusting the brightness. But you also have to consider that I played at launch, so these issues may have been patched since. So I don't know. But other than that, it's just the game's amazing. Story, gameplay, the music, the cinematography, live action, the sets, the writing, just incredible, incredible. It's definitely worth getting through the first game and playing the second for sure. But yeah, moving on, we got what I'm currently playing. I am currently playing Doom Eternal by id. This is one of the classic FPS developers that really push a genre forward. And Doom 2018 was a reboot, and it came out to critical success, acclaim and strong sales numbers, and excuse me. And Doom Eternal is looking to do the same thing. It's just it plays even faster. It's gorier. The game's brighter, so you could see more of the glory kills, and you're doing essentially a fatality. Like I swear to God, like every 10 seconds, like every 10 seconds, you are ripping a spine out of a man's back. Like it is fucking crazy. Like the shit that you're at the speed of what you're doing. Like your basic walking speed in Doom Eternal is probably faster than most first-person shooters are at their fastest. Like it's just so, and we're not even talking upgrades or the dash. It's crazy. And then you could get upgrades where again, you get your 2 dashes, you get your faster recharge, you get your dash you get a dash recharge when you get a glory kill. You could get a perk where you can get a glory kill from farther away. Like it just chains together. If you really think about your playstyle and like how you want to build your Slayer, like you could really chain these things, and it'll just give you it'll give you so much health. Make you into a tank. You get these iframes when you're doing the animation, so you're not taking damage. But the enemies are still it doesn't pause time, so enemies are still coming at you. But for like the 2 seconds, 1 second and a half, you're still doing the animation. You're not taking any damage. The game soundtrack is not as good as the first. I heard a different music composer made I believe different music composer made the soundtrack to this game, which I forget his name. I've actually met a guy who worked with him. He had a controversy exiting. I think Bethesda. I think he was like fired or something. I forget his fucking name. But he composed the music for Prey, again Bethesda game, published game. Anyways, the music here is solid. It's not really my cup of tea, but it's good enough. The gameplay's again amazing. I'm not gonna go over that, but it's amazing. Stories, it's like the story's like heaven and hell. It's just non-existent. It's just kill bad guy, save world. That's the whole fucking story. That's the whole story to Doom Eternal. Kill bad guy, save world. But I mean, I don't really give a fuck. Like, I'm not playing Doom Eternal for fucking Naughty Dog level story. I'm playing for the gameplay. And the gameplay is there, and it's so fun. It's challenging. The flow's incredible. It reminds me of Ghost Runner. I think Ghost Runner has better flow. It's weird because Ghost Runner has better flow than Doom Eternal does, but Doom Eternal has better moment-to-moment gameplay. So like in Ghost Runner, when you're going these like how would you say, these scaling sections, like it's so fun, like sliding down, wall running, getting onto the grapple bar thing, hooking something and scaling the thing. Like it's so fun. But then when you slow down, that's when I wouldn't say it falls apart or anything, but it's still really fun. Don't get me wrong, it's still really good, but it's just, for me, it's a little less fun when it slows down. But when Doom Eternal, this is not really the case. The only time you slow down is when you kill them all. You know what I mean? But again, it's just Game is great. Having a great time with it. Story's non-existent, but that's okay. It's not why I play Doom. And aside from Doom, I'm starting another game. I'm not gonna really say what it is just yet because I want to kind of think about Doom Eternal more and focus more on that. But yeah, it's been really fun playing those games. So next take number 3. It'll probably be the final take of the episode. So the Game of the Year nominees for the Game Awards have been released, and they are as follows: Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man, RE4 Remake, Baldur's Gate 3, Super Mario Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Pretty safe list considering 2023 was a pretty packed year for games. Honestly, I wish if I had to change this list, I would take out Resident Evil 4 Remake. I would put Dead Space in. I think Dead Space is a better game than RE4 Remake is. It's just I'm straight up. It's a better survival horror game. It's a scarier game. It will scare the shit out of you more. Like RE4, if RE4 was like a movie series, it would be like how would I put? If RE4 was like a movie series, I would put it like in like Marvel category, like very casual. You know, not there's some horror, but it's just a lot of action too. Dead Space, that's like the fucking real shit. It's like Sin City. It's like Kick Ass. It's like Logan or like the Netflix Marvel series. Like it's just grounded. It's a little more realistic. It's slower. It's fucking very very atmospheric, and I think it does several horror better. I think it's just a better game, better scary game. Anyways, I think the list is pretty good. It's a little bit for we got a little bit of genres for everybody. You know what I mean? But I think it's a safe list. I really am very lukewarm when it comes to the Game Awards because they recently came out and they were kind of championing AI in video games. I don't know. This post they put up on the Twitter. They were like, "Oh, we're." I wish I could pull it up. Pretty sure they deleted it, but they were like, "Oh man, we're excited to see the future of AI in games," and everyone was like, "What the fuck? Are you kidding me? Like, are you fucking retarded? Like you know what I mean? Like it makes no sense. It's just it's very anti-developer, very anti-talent and brain and human. Like it's just, you know what I mean? Like it makes no sense. Let me see if I can find the fucking tweet. Let's see. I guarantee you that I promise you they deleted it because there's no way they did not get any blowback from this. I don't see it. I don't see it, and that's for good reason because they fucking shitted on these people. Okay, blah blah blah.
Get that bitch.
Yep, not here. Not here. Okay, long story short, the Game Awards posted a post advocating for AI in games. Players bashed on them as they should because that's just taking away jobs from human beings that could and should be working on these games. And they received the backlash that they deserved. Now, we are supporting Game Awards by talking about it, by watching it, by covering it. And I don't know how I feel about that. It's a weird juxtaposition because why the fuck should why should we be supporting a fucking awards ceremony? It's essentially the fucking Nickelodeon awards show of gaming that also happens to advocate for fucking AI. Like it's just, I don't know. It's something I gotta wrap my head around, but it don't feel right. It definitely don't feel right. It's fucked up. Support human beings, like fucking people with brains, and that we've already seen I've seen an AI game. You already have that. And you know what the AI game was, dude? It was fucking Angry Birds. Like, Like I saw a quote was like, "Oh, these AI games are gonna help us develop the most beautiful and unique games we've seen yet." The game, Angry Birds clone. I'm like, dude, that's so fucking sad. That's so fucking sad, man.
Ooh, we can't go that result.
But yeah, that's all I gotta say. And that'll pretty much do it with this episode of Gaming for Fools.
Hell, how did we come back so far?
Be pro fucking human, dude. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh,
But yeah, take care, guys. Peace. You guys can find me on the Twitters, on Instagram, Twitch,
what's her name?
place and place.
The hacker lady?
See you later. Take care.
Let's go. Oh shit. I need heals. Oh, he's kind of weak too. Oh man. Hey, good work. Shameless plug time. Hey, that's me.
So, yeah, that was nasty.
Ah shit. That sucks.